get started. So, hello and welcome back to another episode of Walking Christ Podcast, the show where we encourage people to find spiritually and financial balance in their life through the abundance grace of God. On the podcast today, we have Mr. Vince Hollerman, a former D1 athlete who turned money coach. He helps people build five-figure savings and investments in the stock market. And today, we're going to talk about how Mr. Vince helped people become more familiar in the stock market and also start their journey in financial freedom. Now, how are you doing today?
I'm doing lovely, man. I'm just blessed to be here. I'm glad to be here, and I'm thankful.
That's good. That's good. That's good. So one thing that actually shocked me, going through your bio and just like doing research, and that you was a D1 athlete. So how did you go from a D1 athlete to now coach?
Yeah, so I started. Well, I'm originally from Georgia. Um, Down south, football is life. Football is everything. I went to a high school where every single person in our county went to that one high school. So it was a pretty big high school. But football was number one. Football was king to us. Sometimes we even got off of school because of big football games. And I was a part of a big powerhouse football team called the Camden County Wildcats down in Southeast Georgia. And always played sports in general, but football was the number one love for me. And I obviously I played well enough to be able to get a D1 scholarship
Yeah.
at to play defensive end at the University of Delaware, and that's what brought me to up north. Really, I never been anywhere else, so that brought me to Delaware. Went to University of Delaware and played there all 4 years. Actually started all 4 years too. That's something I don't really tell everybody, but it is, a fact that, I started all 4 years, which is cool, and got my degree in business and economics while I was there. At first, I wanted to get into electrical engineering, but the schedules didn't work out. There was a lot of afternoon classes during time of practice and football and things like that. So that schedule didn't work out for me, but I quickly transitioned to finance because I always liked numbers, always liked math, always liked money, and got my degree there. And once I graduated, I quickly got into the financial industry, like immediately, not even a year out. I was fully licensed, life insurance and investment license, and was helping people do a lot of great things as far as protecting themselves financially with life insurance and investing for their future. So that's how a little old down south Georgia boy became a D1 athlete and eventually got to the financial industry, and eventually now a financial coach helping people become financially free.
That is dope. Had you ever had plans going pro or anything, or just
Yeah, man, definitely. That was the dream, right? That's everybody's dream when they play sports, especially where I'm from. It's really nothing there. So really to be able to get out and make it to the league was a dream of mine. And, uh, being able to make that impact on not only myself and my family, but other people was, the main goal for reaching the NFL. But that didn't happen. I did have a trial with the Eagles and things like that. But yes, of course, that was the goal. That was a dream.
oh wow. It's kind of great to hear from you because I was also a former athlete myself. I ran track for McGovern's College, and the goal is like Olympics, and but life sets in and reality does set in. That means
Right.
that's really that's really dope. So when did you start learning about financial freedom?
Um, Honestly, man, I'm not even gonna kid you. Right out of college, even though I was in the financial industry, I had no clue about what it took to become financially free. It wasn't until like probably the last 3 years that I really started focusing on financial freedom in general, because I started to realize as I was, helping people uh, put different financial products in place for themselves and for their families, that a lot of people was really struggling. It was hard to help people when they didn't have the funds or didn't have the foundation set up initially to be able to get the financial products and things of that nature. Even though it would help them out, there was just barely. It was hard to help people and fit them in and get them the right type of things for themselves because they didn't have the financial foundation, what I call it, or financial freedom. So realizing that, I realized that about myself. I'm like, I'm helping people get these different life insurance and investment type of products, but a lot of people aren't free. Am I free myself? You know what I'm saying? I had to look deep down inside and really realize, am I really living up to everything that I'm coaching people on, teaching people about? And I realized that, man, I'm living paycheck to paycheck, right? I started accruing on some debt, even though I had a full ride scholarship. So I just kind of looked deep down and I'm like, man, I need to get myself right before I'm really able to help anybody else. So about 3 years ago, that's when I really started focusing on financial freedom and really started implementing into my life and helping other people as well.
That's great. So that leads me to my next question. Are you big on debt or are you just no debt, David Ramsey kind of guy?
Nah, so I'm familiar with Dave Ramsey in particular because I know what he teaches. He absolutely hates debt. But I'm actually I'm not against it. I do agree that it prevents you from building wealth. That's one of the things that is probably the number one killer of building wealth because you're basically building wealth for somebody else. You're giving somebody else money that you could be putting towards yourself and building wealth. But however, right, if you're smart with it and you know how to leverage debt, then it could be a good thing for you as well. For instance, with credit cards, just to keep it like real basic, credit cards can be used in a good way instead of how most people think of them. Just buy something, you don't got money right now, so you put it on the credit card and then you pay that off. So I believe that there is a good way to use the credit card with cash back and other type of features and things like that. With using the credit card for your everyday expenses, for things that are on the budget, not things that you just, randomly want to buy, if you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
as far as debt, I agree that won't get you the wealth, but leveraging debt and leveraging it in a way can also help you attain wealth as well.
Great, that's great. So what would you say is the quickest way for someone to become a millionaire?
To become a millionaire, the quickest way?
Yeah, quickest way.
The quickest way that I've found and that I'm learning on my journey to becoming a millionaire myself is really to find what you're good at or find something that you can be good at and bring value to people ASAP. Find out the problem a lot of people are having, find out an area where, people would look to you for help. And that is the quickest way to reach that millionaire status. That's what I'm learning, just giving value out there, putting value, helping people as much as I can, and not being scared to take on opportunities, to work with other people, other projects as well, because that will help you really catapult yourself to the next level financially so that you can reach that. And then, of course, sustaining that wealth and investing it too over the long run. But however, if you want to do it quickly, the best way is to help somebody and help people, get what they need help with fixed. That's the quickest way.
That's definitely great. So what would you say is the biggest mistake people make, the different clients you have? What's the biggest mistake you would make in the hope of being financially free?
Yeah, the biggest mistake of all the people that I've helped so far is the lack of control of their finances. And to make it real simple, budgeting, right? Money management. A lot of people do not use a budget for different reasons. You know, some people just don't like it. Some people don't agree with it. Some people just aren't familiar or don't know how, right, with budgeting and really the power of writing down where your money should be going each and every month, each and every week, every 2 weeks. That is one of the main mistakes a lot of people make. And because they don't do that, they find themselves living paycheck to paycheck. They find themselves not knowing where the money, all the money that they make is, because a lot of the times, probably 90% of the time, I would probably say 95% of the time, most people make enough money. They just don't manage it correctly. And budgeting is one of the biggest things. That's actually one of the first things that I sit down with every single person that I sit down with and help them do is walk through a budget, sit down, create a budget, and create one that's best for their lifestyle so that they can get back in control. Because when money controls you, it's hard to manage it the right way and to get yourself back on track to financial freedom.
That definitely, you're definitely right. So being that said, how would you say is the best way to budget?
The best way, man, it's a lot of ways, really, but you know, because everybody's different, and I do believe finance is personal. Everybody's story is different. Everybody's situation is different. But however, for most people, what I would say the simplest way, and you know, there's the 50-30-20 plans, there's a payday budget, and there's a whole bunch of different types. But the simplest way is really automate saving and investing. So I don't care what you do. Let's say you can live off 80% of the money that you make, and you can save and invest 20%. I don't care what you do with that other 80%. I don't care where you spend it, what goes on. As long as you automate the saving 20% or investing 20%, or even half and half, 10% to savings, 10% to investing. That is the simplest way. Just automating your spending, automating your saving, and automating your investing as best as you can, so that you can win long term. You know, everything else, all the other type of plans and budgeting plans out there helps specific people in specific situations. But the easiest way is to automate the saving and investing.
That definitely that was
Yeah.
because you feel tired early.
Yeah. So one of the things that I think a lot of people should do when it comes to retiring, you got to know your numbers. You got to figure out exactly how much you can live off of, or have a number that you can live off of in retirement. When it comes to money, when it comes to anything financial, you have to be specific, and as specific as possible, so that you can reach those goals that you want to reach. To retire early, you need to figure out exactly how much you spend, your expenses, every single month on a monthly basis. Something that you can stick to without changing your lifestyle, without changing how you live. None of that. That's number one. Then take that number, whatever that is, and multiply that by 12. Then multiply that by 25. That's going to give you a minimum retirement number. And I say minimum because it's very minimal. It's basically just money that you need to survive, money that you need to live comfortably in retirement. And you figure out that number, whatever that number is, by multiplying your monthly expenses times 12 times 25, and you invest every single month into a Roth IRA, specifically a Roth IRA, because the Roth is going to let you have tax-free growth over that money after 59 and a half. You can take out all of that money completely tax-free and live off of that without ever touching the principal. That is the key That's the goal, to be able to have money invested that you can live off of for forever. And to me, that's the quickest way to build up a retirement savings. And you really want to focus, whatever monthly number that is that you're investing, or annual number that is that you're investing every year to get to that retirement number, because retirement is a number, not an age. Whatever that is, you need to really focus and be intentional on putting that money to the side every single month. Or if you want to get there quicker, cutting out everything else that's not going towards that as much as you can, so that you can get there as quickly as possible. That's the quickest way to build that wealth up, to have it invested and have money really working for you, so that you can just, live and go do other things that you really want to do in your life, whether that be starting a business, finding your passion or your purpose in life, to be able to impact other people, or, investing into real estate or any other asset where you can make some income from that as well.
That's definitely great. So, what would you say? Since you brought on the Roth IRA, can you describe the difference between a Roth IRA and a regular IRA?
Yeah, I can. I answer this question all the time, believe it or not. So let's start with a traditional IRA. The traditional IRA is a individual retirement account that has the same contribution limits as a Roth IRA. So you can contribute $6,000 per year in the traditional under the age of 50, and you can contribute $7,000 per year over the age of 50. The traditional, however, is what's known as a tax deferred retirement plan, meaning that your taxes are deferred. So since they are deferred, any contributions that you make, you can deduct that from your taxes every single year. So I would say for people that are a little bit older in age, that may be looking to save money currently or save on taxes currently, the traditional is the best route. Now, if we're looking at the Roth is also an individual retirement account, same contribution limits. However, this is a tax-free growth account. So by tax-free, I know a lot of people think you get taxed twice when you put into the Roth, but you're not. So you get taxed initially whenever you get paid from a job. Whatever money shows up in your bank account is already after-tax dollars. The money that you put into the Roth is the after-tax dollars that's going into that account. And so because it's already taxed, therefore it can grow completely tax-free as long as you don't touch it before 59 and a half. And with that, with the Roth IRA, there is an income limit, however, of 140,000, I believe, for the year for 2021. So if you make over 140,000, you won't be able to contribute to a Roth IRA. But there is something called a backdoor Roth, which I don't even know why they made the loophole, if they why they made the rule, if they were just going to give people a way to invest into a Roth anyway. But there's a way to invest into a Roth if you make over 140,000. But that's the main differences right there between the traditional and the Roth. The traditional, it doesn't have any income limits. The Roth does, and the Roth grows tax-free while the traditional doesn't.
That's good. Could you explain the backdoor Roth IRA?
Yeah, so the backdoor Roth IRA is just a tax loophole for people who make basically over 140,000 who can invest into the Roth directly. What you do is you invest, you max out a traditional IRA that has no income limits. You max that out. So let's say you're under 50, you have $6,000. You put all of that into the traditional IRA. You don't invest it or anything. You just put it inside the traditional IRA. Then what you do is you immediately convert that into a Roth IRA, and it becomes a legal asset for you, even though you can't directly invest into the Roth IRA. But once you get it converted to the Roth, you can start investing in everything just like normal. But you will have to do that every single year. For every single year that you make over 140,000 for the Backdoor Roth. If you need help with that, the IRS has a breakdown of that. So if you go to irs.gov/backdoor Roth, it should take you to a article on that and explaining you how it works as well.
That's good. So so being that said, let's say someone do make like six figures and more than 140K, what would you advise is the best way for them to stay for a time or reach this financial free goal that they have in mind? If it's not going to a Roth or doing the traditional going to a Roth, what would you say is the best way? Just investing regularly?
Yeah, so just investing into a regular account, either a traditional or or really, let's take it a step back. If you work somewhere that offers a 401k and they match, you should definitely take advantage of that. I would say that's one of the first things that you take advantage of. What I would say there is that if your company match however much they match, and then max out your Roth. So let's say your company matches 5%. You want to match 5% of your annual income and put that into the 401k because they're going to give you 5% as well. So basically, you're getting 10% in your 401k. Then you want to take, if you make over the income limit, of course, the traditional IRA. You can invest into the traditional IRA and max that out to $6,000 per year. And if you have any, more disposable income, I would say just put it directly into the 401k and let it do its thing. What's great about that too is as long as you do not sell in less than a year, capital gains tax goes into account with the 401 with the 401k and the traditional. Before 59 and a half, however, the early withdrawal penalty also get hit with. So that's just something to keep in mind for people that make over 140,000. Just be mindful. You want to invest long term. That's the key, of course. Invest long term so that you can take advantage of long term capital gains tax, and just keep it simple for yourself. Don't try to overcomplicate it.
Great, that's great. So I know you have a program, MML. Can you explain what it is and how people can get involved in the program?
Yeah, so it's crazy, man. I've been thinking of this community, this family for a long time, and this year's, it's finally coming to fruition. But the Money Mindset League, I actually have a crew neck on right now of one of the shirts that we have. The Money Mindset League is a community for winners, for people who want to become financially free. I created it as a place where people can not only, get right financially, but also mentally, because I believe money is more psychological than anything, right? It's about 80-90% psychology, and the other 10-20% is math, right? And habits that you create, through your journey. So the Money Mindset League is just that, just getting your mindset right as well to get right with money, and building the skills and habits necessary to be right financially and create that financial foundation for yourself. So we have over 1,300 people inside the Money Mindset League so far, and growing. We've been growing really, really rapidly as of late. And the best way to get in touch with that is on my Instagram, which is I am your money coach on Instagram, and on TikTok. where I am at the Dollar Man on TikTok. So that's the best way to get involved with us. You know, if you have trouble with that, you can always just reach out or send me a DM, and I can get you involved with us. We're doing a lot of things inside the Money Mindset League. It's turned, it's turned to more than just a community and a family. We also offer a bunch of great tools. I have what's called financial training camp inside as well that teaches you and shows you step by step how to create the financial foundation for yourself. I also have a coaching program that people can get involved with, where we meet weekly. We actually meeting after this at 9:30 p.m. tonight. Every Tuesday we meet. We have different professionals inside as well. We have a CPA by the name of Tyler, who is licensed CPA and knows everything about taxes and things like that. Recently, with the rise of crypto and how, the crypto hype and everything, we also have a crypto expert inside as well, where that can answer all your crypto questions. We're doing a save and invest challenge. We have a bunch of great things going on. And if you're interested in being a part of this great community, I would highly recommend that you join us.
How much is it to join for those who may want to do?
Yeah, so the community is free. You can join the community and be involved for free. The coaching program is $20 per month or $200 annually. And any coaching sessions, like one-on-one coaching sessions, if you don't like the group setting, I do offer one-on-one coaching sessions. Those vary. I have packages, and I have one-on-ones that start at, $100 per session. And that's it. Like, majority of everything that you get is free though. So you get access to everybody, the CPA and our crypto expert, 100% free. And the financial training camp course that's inside is all free as well.
That's great. That is great. So where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Man, that's a great question. And I think about this often. I see myself in 5 years having probably one of the biggest communities online, well over 20, 30,000 members, and being able to impact over 10 million people by then. That's where I see the community, the group, the family at in 5 years. I just see a lot of great things coming out of this with just happening with this year, just the pop of everything that's going on. But that's definitely my vision for everything going forward. I definitely want our community to grow, and I definitely want people to impact and, really start changing their lives. 5 to 10 years from now, to be real evident to see how many people took action inside the group, how many people continue to take action, and who's really been impacted and affected in a positive way from being inside this community. I want nothing more than to help others. I want nothing more than to be there and see people prosper and have an abundant life. And I think just being able to do that the next 5 to 10 years, impact so many people that way alone is going to be great enough for me.
That's great. So being the fact that you're an athlete, what would your advice be for athletes? I think I saw a post. Only 1% of athletes actually make it to a pro. So what would be your advice to an athlete right now?
Yeah, yeah, man. Athletes, man, I love my athletes. I actually got a few athlete clients, but one of the first things that I help athletes realize, that I realize myself, is that the reason that we want to get to the league, the reason we want to get to that next level, is basically so that we can, not only make the money, but be able to impact people with that money that we make when we make it to the next level. So one of the things that I tell people, or my athletes specifically, is that, look, if you want to be able to make that impact, right? Just like you would in the NFL and the baseball league and the NBA, whatever the case may be. You want to make that impact, then you definitely want to become financially free, right? And college and wherever else we play football or basketball or we play our sport, most of the time we have this big like outside perspective of people who are just reckless with money. As we know, most athletes go broke after 4 years after the league and things like that. We have this negative persona or negative perspective about how careless we are with money. What we want to do is not take that and run with it. We want to be smart. For most of us who have scholarships and who's been blessed to be able to go to school for free, we don't have debt, right? We don't have student loans to pay back. So we're basically given a get out of debt free card and be able to do more things and have more options because of that. Don't put yourself in position to rack up debt. Don't put yourself in position to get back or to be under the same stresses and financial stresses as most people have to go through. Take advantage of it. Take advantage of your debt freedom and use that to your advantage. You now have more leeway to invest more and to do more of the things that you want, to invest into a business or whatever the case may be, right? So we got to realize that what you wanted to do when you got to the league, you can do that the same way by becoming financially free. So that's one of the first things that I would tell my athletes, and the first piece of advice. Really, really create financial freedom for yourself, and you'll be able to make the same impact as you would have in the NFL, NBA, or baseball, or whatever the case may be.
That's great. That's great. That's great. So thank you for your time. Can you tell us where we can find you and close out with a strong word for those who are listening?
Yeah, so for those that's listening, you can find me on Instagram at I am your money coach. You can find me on TikTok at the Dollar Man. I'm also on Twitter at Money Coach Vince. You can find me there. I'm also on YouTube. If you look up Coach Vince, you'll be able to find me. Just typing in Coach Vince, you'll be able to find me there. And my website is www.iamyourmoneycoach.com. There you can set up a one-on-one with me if you want one-on-one help financially, help you reach your goals, help you become prosperous and abundant and create that mindset that you need to go forward on your financial journey. That's where you can find me. But closing word is really just believe in yourself. That's the first thing that you can do when it comes to handling your money and your finances. Believe in yourself. Without that, you won't be able to go too far, right? There's too many things that pops up. Life happens. Things comes up in our lives that will try to drag us away, that will try to keep us from being focused and take our attention away from the goal. Don't let that happen, right? Believe in yourself, invest in yourself, and most importantly, love yourself. I say that to everybody, every single live I do, every single talk that I do, because I fully believe in it. If you do that first, then this money thing will be as simple as you make it, and it wouldn't be as hard as you think.
And thank you for your time, Mr. Vince. And for those who are listening, I hope you guys took a gem or two away from this, and stay tuned for next week's episode. Thank you, Mr. Vince.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate you for having me.